On YouTube, this is Los Angeles Prepper, and I'm still alive. Excuse me. Been busy doing school stuff and whatnot. I'm gonna give a quick shout out here to. Let me get his name right. I don't want to mess it up. Marauder Prepper. One word. Marauder Prepper. I think he just, well, I wouldn't say I think. I know he just started a new channel. He has one video, 4 subscribers, make that 5 subscribers. And it's, just watch them, just check him out, just look him up. Marauder Prepper. It says I won't even read his channel description or the video description because I think it's funny and I want you to feel the comedy. But he brings up a really good point, which people have talked about before, and I'll share my 2 cents because that's what we do on YouTube. So he's talking about marauding, pillaging, taking other people's stuff, and I think he's joking about it, but. But it's not, it's not something to laugh about, really. We have seen that society in recent times, Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, Irma, Katrina, of course, a few years back. And Katrina was definitely bad because it was such a long-term thing. It just flooded such a large area that, a lot of Louisiana became just no man's land, just crazy. All these people in the dome and just insanity. So for anyone that's watching that's thinking like, well, I would never have to worry about protecting myself, or, I don't have hurricanes where I live, or whatever it is. I mean, I'm in LA. We had the LA riots. Now, granted, that's like a really one-off event. You don't have a lot of riots getting that bad that frequently. But the point is that due to social unrest or a natural disaster, or who knows what, there could be a period of civil unrest, even if it's short, even if it's just a few days or a couple weeks. It doesn't. Getting robbed or shot the first week of civil unrest sucks just as much as getting shot the 4th week of civil unrest. I don't know which one's worse, but they're both bad. So, sorry, just gotta get comfortable here. So, I mean, what's your plan? What's your plan? Let's say it's a short-term shit hit the fan scenario, like a national disaster, or emergency. So maybe the power, let's say that, services are out less than a week or so. So maybe like LA would have a power outage for a week or something, but like the surrounding areas are okay. How, and I guess there's kind of two different, there's a lot of different facets of this, home defense. How do you defend your home? But him talking about marauding kind of made me think about how do you keep yourself secure when you're on the road? Not necessarily traveling, but just like out from your place, scouting or, gathering supplies or, I don't know. Chances are, at least as far as situational awareness, when things get crazy, unless crazy is right outside your door, I get the sense that you're going to kind of want to peek outside and see what's going on. Like, for example, I could climb on top of my roof and see several miles around me. Now, if the power's out, that's not like very exciting, but I mean, I could still get a sense of like, does it look like life is normal, or are people going crazy, or whatever's going on? So even if you have all your food and all your guns and ammo and everything, just as far as understanding what's going on in your community, I get the sense, I would believe that a, a fair amount of preppers would want to kind of, um, be aware of what's going on, and it might not be something where you can walk up to the top of your hill. It might be like you want to take a 10 or 20-minute walk to a nearby hill or something. Like there's a hill by my house that I could climb up to. It's not really by my house, but like if I rode on my bike or took a car or whatever, by car it's about 10 minutes. By bike it's probably about 20-25 minutes. But if I had nothing better to do, and I wasn't in school or work or the power, I wasn't worried about like normal day-to-day duties, and responsibilities, I would just jump on my bike, presuming it was like safe enough to kind of go around, that it wasn't that bad, um, and go up to this hill with my binoculars. And from the top of this hill, I can see 360 degrees, all sorts of stuff, what's going on in LA. Probably bring my radio that I don't have right now. I have a cheap, shitty radio, but I need to get a VHF, UHF, a little bit nicer radio. And if shit hits the fan was kind of like in early stages, just the first day or something, I might not be that worried about going around. But like, let's say I'm in Puerto Rico and it's 2 or 3 weeks in, um, going out during the day might be one thing, but like it might not be a good idea to go out at night. Although you can kind of take the counterintuitive approach and say, well, if going out at night is dangerous, then maybe there won't be as many people out at night, so maybe I can kind of get around more stealthily at night. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I think it's a lot easier to secure yourself and you can see what the fuck's going on personally. I can't see in the dark. I don't have night vision goggles, so going around in the dark doesn't seem like a super safe thing to me, unless you just have to. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Like, you know, would you try to go out with a buddy? Do you have a neighbor or a friend or someone that lives nearby, that you would trust to watch your back, especially if they're armed? How well do you trust your neighbor? If your neighbor says, "Oh, I have a concealed carry permit. Hey, you wanna pair up and go check out what's going on 20 minutes up the street and see if it's cool or see if shit's getting crazy." Very very interesting thing to think about. I have a few neighbors that I would trust, that I know pretty well, that I've lived here for like a year and a half, and they're good people. And I wouldn't trust them with everything, but I would trust them to watch my back if shit was getting crazy. I would trust them to try to help me out if they could. um, I would trust them, like I would trust them enough to help increase my state of security. So I suppose, I don't know, just interesting. There's so many different facets of it. Like, do you go out by yourself? Do you go out in a vehicle? Not in a vehicle? Um, Obviously, if the rule of law, if society hasn't collapsed, you can't exactly just flaunt the, turn your nose up to the rule of law. So I mean, just because there's a power outage in LA doesn't mean I can go like open carry my firearm around if I don't have a concealed carry permit. So, or whatever the specific. California has a lot of tough laws about open carrying and such. I think you need the CCW to open carry unless you're hunting. But at any rate, curious what your thoughts are. How do you plan, or do you plan on moving around, or when shit hits the fan? Let's say you're bugging in. Sure, if you're gonna bug out, how to bug out is a totally different video. But I'm kind of curious, if you're bugging in, what sort of plans or contingencies have you put together as far as gaining information on your surroundings? It's nice to have the radio, but it only helps if there's something important on the radio. If there's you're not always going to have the most up-to-date reporting on rioters going this way, or the fire spreading to this house or this neighborhood. And like, we had some bad fires. California's had a lot of bad fires through the years, and I know some of the recent fires, they really have trouble with people not evacuating. Like, people thinking, I'll just put the hose on my roof, or when I see the fire I'll go, or just sort of like weird shit. I mean, I understand it. Like, I don't even own property, but I feel like I would sort of be like one of those people like on the fence, oh, I have a water tank and a generator and I'm going to fight this fire myself or something stupid like that. But I would also have insurance, so I'm not, I mean, anything in the house that's insured. I'm not the biggest sentimental person. I can't, there's not a lot of things that I would like be broke up over the rest of my life if I lost them as far as sentimental stuff is concerned. So, you know, but anyways, I'm kind of rambling. I've been a little bit out of the YouTube phase, so I'm a little less organized in this video. There's a bunch of stuff I'd love to talk about. If anyone watching has any requests, there's a lot of current event stuff going on. I'm not sure if there's been exciting things happening in the prepping community. There's definitely a lot of uncertainty going on in the world. So maybe I could touch on that a little bit with some of the different big global stuff that's going on. But I'll kind of close the video here. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on, moving around in not necessarily a shit hits the fan, but sort of like, I'll just say a scenario. Could be a hurricane, could be temporary, could be longer term. But whatever the reason, let's just say that society, that the things aren't like 100%. Whatever percentage they are, they're just not 100%. How are you moving around? Are you doing it with people, without people, at day, at night, with firearms, without firearms? Do you have a slingshot in your backpack? Are you going to carry a bow over your shoulder? Are you just going to walk around with a big knife on your hip? I'm curious. Curious what your plans are for getting around safely as a fellow prepper and fellow concerned citizen of the world. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.